ability to do impactful projects, because then you will be answering the vision of why you come together, why you join, why you take action. And in our case, we have a number of impactful projects that have been implemented right from the past. We had the Mwana Mujimus, those that have been in Rotary long enough to witness that being implemented. But I want to bring those that are most relevant and are most recent, with which you can connect. We do have the cancer ward, and the activities around the cancer program, the cancer run, the contributions we make, going out there, buying vests, running for cancer, mobilizing big money, and being able to put the kind of infrastructure that is in Zambia, which comparably is competitive with even superseding the national infrastructure within the cancer space. So that is Rotary for you. And that is not magic, even when we are going to have a magical year, but that is not rocket science. It is simply commitment, coming together, taking action, and doing impactful projects. And I want to acknowledge, because we must always acknowledge those that do good. The cancer champion is in our midst. Governor Stephen, stand up. When they see the impact of cancer and all that goes with cancer, you may think that the man behind it is a giant. No, I'm saying, but he's a giant in the concept. So it is the idea. He came up with a big idea, and it is giving us serious visibility. So basically, I wanted to use something that is very relevant. But we have the blood bank. Equally, it has done great. Kampala North has done quite a number of projects in Chidera. If you go there, the community is transformed. You've got a whole new outlook of the people. And the change was informed by an idea initiated at a club level, and it has changed the community. We have many others in the offing. We have the MCH, which is being scaled up. Although you talked about the past, but I want also to project that the past has not stopped us from thinking. Governor John Magezi Ndamira is following up a project of scale, something like we've never had in this country, and pray that it works out, because it is going to create unprecedented impact. So basically, each club has a project that they call an impactful project by their standards, by their levels. So I don't want to talk about the big ones only. Each club, go back to your archives. You have something that defines your club in terms of a project. So you don't have to look very far. Just go back to your club and look at what you've been able to do that has impacted the community that you serve. The community may be a small community, but as long as there is impact and it's life-changing, it is worth writing home about. So, Madam Moderator, using the cancer, which is one of the biggest challenges of our time. Today, we are mourning one of the greatest leaders in this country, Honorable Cecilia Ogwal. And with your permission, I will request that we observe a moment of silence. She's done great for this country. Even President Ray Clinsmith, he was a very good friend of Uganda, and he was the president when Governor Stephen was the governor. He's went to be with the Lord, but still the same challenge. May the souls of all those that have passed on due to cancer and all those that have gone to be with the Lord rest in peace. So the reason that I used that is because the challenge is apparent, but Rotary demystified it. We've been able to do something that has demystified the challenge of cancer. And we continue to do that. It remains a challenge. None of you in this room has not suffered loss of a loved one due to cancer. So, by Rotary coming out and rising up to the occasion and doing what we've been able to do, now cancer is more known because of Rotary than any other intervention. And that is because of you and I, galvanized by the great idea championed by Governor Stephen. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much, Governor Mike. Capacity and ability to execute impactful projects. I want to move on right just after your sharing, Governor Mike, about the cancer run. I want to ask Governor Stephen to just pick it up from there. Can you discuss any recent collaborations or partnerships that Rotary has formed to enhance its impact on local and global communities? Recent collaborations or partnerships that Rotary has formed to enhance its impact on local and global communities. Let's hear that.
Thank you very much. Do you have to stand really?
Governor, feel free to remain seated. It is well. When you see the president smiling, it means it is well.
Thank you very much. That's the question. People start wondering. We've got many, both local and international partnerships. What stands out, though, as we speak now, is what we have with the Bill and Melinda Gates partnership, which has been able, thank you, and this partnership has enabled us to deal with polio decisively. Rotary International has, over the past 20 or so years, been insisting on partnerships. And in fact, when they're introducing the current, what we call feature program, previously we had small projects done under matching grants and local grants. Now, when they began introducing global grants, raising the scale, then it became imperative that before a club implements a global grant, you must get an international partner. They're actually encouraging us to seek out partnerships so that it becomes intentional. And that has helped us to see things big. Because it was argued then, and correctly so, that the amount of effort you put in, sometimes even resources like time and others, to do a project of $8,000 in your community is maybe about the same that you need to do a project of $50,000. And therefore, for improved efficiency, we are encouraged as clubs, as Rotarians, to seek partnerships. This also enables us to do bigger, better, and broader projects. And at this point, I feel saddened because the guy using that mantra who started it was my president at my time, the late Ray Smith. Encouraged us to start thinking big. There's no point where you have a club like Kampala South, powerful as it is, to go around putting up bus sheds, to go around protecting a few wells, and then you celebrate that. So now, instead, Kampala South gets partners, and then you find them in Chikandwa, transforming a community. That's the thinking. Now, where we are going, I think, is exactly that. The introduction of the programs of scale was again to do exactly that. It's been tested now for the last 3-4 years. I wouldn't be surprised if next year and years to come, instead of having one, we possibly have 5 programs of scale in a year, because we are talking about impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Governor Stephen. That was brief, but very clear. I want to invite Governor Mutini. I learned that this evening. Governor Mutini, District Governor nominee, GK. Let's just receive your thoughts on Rotary then, Rotary now, and Rotary ahead.
Thank you very much, and a happy new year to everybody. My senior, John, has mentioned some of the things Rotary then. But as a person who joined Rotary as a Rotaractor, the Rotary at that time was closed in. As a Rotaractor, you actually had to seek permission to attend a Rotary meeting. If you turned up at a Rotary meeting without permission, they will not actually allow you in. The good club he has mentioned, Kampala North, I think it's the epitome of transformation of Rotary then and Rotary now. Some of us even fear to join that Rotary club. But these days, we've embraced the young generation. He has talked about embracing the ladies. And that young generation has been supported by Rotarians, because Rotary has now realized that the future is within the young people. The Bagandas say, Emiti Emito. Yeah. And I'd like to recognize one of them, the leaders of Emiti Emito here, the DRR, Emmanuel. So because of embracing the young generation, there have been innovations. Change to make sure we attract the young. The average age of Rotarians that time was around, I think, 60. But if you look at that, like in our district, it has been dropping. I think most clubs, the average age is around 45, 46. There are some clubs, like Kampala City, I think the average age is below 40 years. That's why I'm sure most of you, when you meet some, I'm sure some people ask you, is so and so a Rotarian? The reason being that the image of the Rotarian they knew was an old man wearing suits, who rarely smiles, and very strict in whatever they say. So essentially, the Rotary now is more accommodative, more fun, and as my seniors said, we're doing projects that touch our communities, because the approach has actually changed also, that we do community assessment to make sure we have an impact in these communities. And I'll emphasize, the fun is good, but also has become a problem in terms of our PR. People now look at Rotary from the old man in a suit who doesn't smile to a young man or young lady whose work is to have a good time. So we have to balance the both. Thank you very much.
Wow. To balance the boat. Thank you very much, Governor GK. And right there, you are tickling our minds into diversity, equity, and inclusion. There is no one best suited to talk about that other than a mother. Nalongo. Governor Rosette, please tell us, just share. how does Rotary approach diversity and inclusion within its membership and projects, and what steps are being taken to ensure a broad representation?
Thank you very much, and I greet you all. Don't mind my finger. We love you so much that I had to come. Thank you very much. So you talked about the issue of diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think Rotary has transformed greatly from being male-dominated to having, accepting women in the 80s to join, and even up the club level, you'll find women have come. But that's not diversity, equity, and inclusion. In many times, we are counting diversity and equity to look at how many men, how many women are in a group, or how many have participated. So we are at that stage where we need to take the issue of diversity and inclusion further and say, if I'm going to do a board meeting on a certain day, I have already said my board meeting is on a Monday at 7 p.m. But a mother actually needs to rush home and have the child fed. And that happens at a time like 3 p.m. And you are saying you must come. And you even call and say somebody has failed to come. And it's just because we haven't taken the issue of diversity, equity, and inclusion to the next step, where you understand the hours, the labor of work, the domestic care, the type of work people do, the fact that men and women must care for each other requires that we should actually look at the schedules of how people use time. And then we balance how you do diversity, equity, and inclusion. But it's very good that Rotary has already moved a step, and we have a fair balance of men and women, and we have gone up in terms of including the youth. We still have a long way to include other types of races, religions. In some of our clubs, I can go to my club and I don't know whether I have a Muslim in my club. I don't know. So we still have a long way to go in terms of equity and inclusion. But by and large, I think we should clap our hands that if you even look across the room, we have the tall and short, we have the black and white, we have everybody, we have the angry. Because sometimes you think that diversity is only about what we see on the top. But when you are doing a mapping to bring in equity and inclusion, I should look at my members and say, this one is very angry. This person always is an angry member. And so I must find the happy member. And somehow, in that way, you bring equity, because it's okay. The angry one will fight and beat, but the happy one will pat and say, please wait, don't cut off that person. So I think we have done a lot. We should commend Rotary where we have gone, but we still have a way to go in terms of helping ourselves deal especially with issues of equity. Inclusion has come. Diversity has come. Equity will go towards issues of understanding that in any club anywhere in the world, no one will ever have the same pocket like the next one. And when we make general statements and say, today, all of you bring 30,000, and after 3 days, you say bring 40,000, we are not conscious that society, even in Uganda, if you look at our accounts, only 10% can be considered. Did we hear that only 10% have some money in NSSF? And because many people don't have that kind of money, why are we assuming that Rotarians, Rotaractors are any different, and that for them they can pay higher? that impacts on the way things happen at home. So diversity, equity, and inclusion also goes back home. Once you do it wrongly in Rotary, you will be impacting and bringing domestic violence in the home because the money went into Rotary. It means somebody doesn't have money to go back and buy the right things in the home. So I hope we shall continue to dialogue on this issue, and I thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Governor Rosette, for dissecting day in a very short time. President, our time is fast spent, but please allow me to just take the two next and final panelists. The first is Governor Xavier. This question is very short but bold. As a requirement of the incoming district governor-elect, he or she is okay to go for the training with their spouses. Why isn't the case the same for incoming president-elect? He or she, Governor Xavier, please.
Thank you so much. Good evening, friends. I feel the vibe of the many PEs here. And rightly said, the question is short but loaded. I actually looked at it and was sharing with the Governor Mike here. And I started reflecting on some of these things, some of the things that we've never thought about. True, when governors are going to prepare for the year of service, and that's the reason why Governor Ann is not here, because she just concluded her international assembly over the weekend. And they prepare us, each one of us, some of us missed out this good training to be there physically, and they just did it virtually. But they prepare us, and Rotary puts a lot of emphasis on training. Rotary International puts a lot of emphasis on training at all levels. You need to speak to any past president of Rotary International, any past director. They will tell you what they go through to prepare them. So for us as governors, they will invite us for an international assembly. They call that special training is called the International Assembly. And it's a 1 week long training, intense training, that when you get there, being accommodated in a 7-star hotel, but you live that 1 week and you do not know anything around that city because you've just been intense in the training. But the most important thing with that is that it, one, equips you with the right skills, with the right knowledge, and the right connections to be able to go out, support your districts. Because through that, you are able to link up with all your peers from around the world. Your fellow governors, people you are going to serve with. Through that same session, International Assembly, is when the president-elect, the incoming president, unveils the theme and the focus of the year. Again, a number of people like now I call him young brother, but he's my elder brother, GK, they are going to miss out on these themes going forward. But this is when we get, the whole purpose of the themes was to focus Rotary during that year. So, the whole idea is that at that level, leadership of a district requires of you to go out and support
Rotary in your region. And that's the whole purpose of all these leaders here. And you are not going to be able to support Rotary without your spouse being by your side. Making sure that you are comfortable at home, making sure that when you are, some of us were escorted by the, and others were making sure that the young ones at home are comfortable, then you can be able to lead. Now, is it true that they don't actually allow the spouses of Rotarians at club level to attend these pets? No. Okay, it's not true. Have they been invited? No. No one has been bold enough to invite them. But probably we should ask the reasons why. Because we know very well that you as a leader, even at club level, you only serve us well if everything is right at home. If your partner, if your spouse, sometimes when you go to those international meetings, they start using the word partner and they drop the spouse and the wife or husband. So now I need to bring it back home. If your wife or husband, and sometimes now they use husband and wife interchangeably. That's why they always hide behind the partner thing. But it's always better that there's peace and harmony and support at that level. Then you are going to serve your club well. And what they train, by the way, during that 1 week of training of the governor-elects, there's a parallel training for the spouses of the leaders. And the whole training is about how do you support this lady or gentleman to go through that year of service. Which we hopefully need to do that. But why haven't we been doing it? Probably. And I can assure you, I've attended other trainings out there, and the presidents have come in with their spouses. So it's not true. It's open. And they have been supported at that level. I will reflect about why we've not done it here, because there are so many other constraints. Starting with budget. The only time that leaders, that us, have enjoyed Rotary, these dues that we pay, is when we go to the International Assembly. At least they pay for us and they pay for the spouse and accommodate us. Now that can be done for you to enjoy part of your dues we pay in the clubs, is when we bring you to pets. And we subsidize your being there. But we still charge you, Now you just imagine if we added the spouse. You know who is going to foot this bill? It's us, me and you. From the club dues, from the district dues that you are going to pay. So it's always a compromise. It is a nice to have. Do you make Rotary very expensive by doing these things? Would we, and I would have accept, if I called 100 and how many clubs do we have? 120 clubs, 130 clubs. And so the president-elect and their spouses, we are talking about 260 to 300. Do we have the right? Of course, that's I saw made saying now, which unfortunately even at RI they say they only cater for one. But you can bring the others at your. Now, it's all those things that you think about. The venue, the arrangement, making sure that you reach out. The program. You are going to need to train a large pool of people to simply take care of that space, to take care of the spouses, to take care, and all those things. So, maybe the straight answer is that one, it's not that it's not allowed. And just challenge the status quo and bring a wife along. Pay for them and they will be there. so that they can support you better. But two, think about those other logistical issues that would come along. Maybe as we go on through the journey, we need to organize such trainings or such interfaces of spouses interacting with their peers to know the challenges they go through when this president, before they used to come back at 8, 9 o'clock, now these days they say the club, the club fellowship day. I've attended this installation that say, when he doesn't show up early, you understand. And some of them, it's not the very reason. But in short, that is the answer. It's a good to have. We just need to think through the logistical issues.
Logistical issues. Thank you very much, Governor Xavier. And for that reason, President, we are just about to end this session to allow the spouses to go home early. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Finally, we have the senior boy child in the house, Governor Wabato. DRR, you're very welcome. Kindly share with us in just 2 minutes. Rotaract then, Rotaract now, Rotaract ahead.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to all of you. If I could share briefly, just like the story is for Rotary and Rotary clubs, Rotaract has also gone through exponential growth. And also for starters, that this year, Rotaract will be making 40 years in Uganda. So it's been 40 years of growth, of development of so many things. But also, to give you a little bit more statistics, that 80% of the Rotaract clubs that we have right now are less than 10 years old. So for a very long time, we had about 20 Rotaract clubs, but for the last 10 years, and I would like to thank you, the Rotarians, for putting that as part of your agenda to charter as many Rotaract clubs as possible. From inception, Rotaract was started as a program of Rotary International to bridge the gap between Interact and Rotary, because they felt that people would disappear after being Interactors in high school. So Rotaract was started in institutions, what we call institution-based clubs, and in communities, what we call community-based clubs. Of course, it went ahead to improve. There was a time when we used to have our pins that had Rotaract, Rotary Club Partner. And last year, in 2022, Rotaract went to what we could probably call the best stage of being recognized as a partner in service, but also specifically as a membership type of Rotary International. That simply means that Rotaractors, just like Rotarians, have the same access to Rotary resources like the magazine, like the Rotary Club Central, like access to global grants, whereas at smaller amounts and things like that. So that has been the most recent development. But also that now Rotaractors can ably be appointed to serve on various Rotary International committees, which was not the case in the past. What also stands out for me is that there's been an improved working relation with Rotaract clubs and Rotary clubs. Like Governor Jike has said, in their time, when he was a member of Kampala City, it was hard for Rotaractors to visit a Rotary club. These days, we walk in, we are guest speakers. We're now doing projects jointly, consulting and working hand in hand together. And for the future, I think we have to go back to how we started. As Rotaract began as an insurance plan for Rotary, just like Interact. So all of us Rotarians must look at it in that angle. At my Rotaract Club Kampala City, we look at the institution-based clubs of Makerere, Mulago, and Nakawa as our insurance plan. So every year, we get at least 10 new members from those clubs that know what they're supposed to do already. Rotary clubs should also look at it in that angle. It is not enough for you to sponsor a Rotaract club, but work with them to secure the future of your Rotary club. Of course, you know that you reap what you sow. So if you wait to harvest once a person is about to reach 30, you're probably not going to get the very best person. So I would like to encourage us to keep chartering Rotaract clubs, but work with them so that 30 years later, 40 years later, when you're a retired Rotarian, there's probably somebody who began off right as a Rotaractor to sit in that weekly meeting and keep your club going and growing. Finally, I think the biggest win for Rotaract over the last many years is that at this point in time, we're now supplying regularly former Rotaractors as district governors, and there's already 3 of them on this table. So there is no better example of how much growth that Rotaract has seen over the last years than pointing at our district governors, many of whom we have. I think we have about 5 right now in our district. Thank you very much. I hope that's enough and it works, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much, dear Emmanuel, for sharing and depth in a very short time about the Rotaractors. Friends, our time is fast spent. President, I ought to return this microphone to you. My inbox is buzzing with 3 related questions on MCH. Do not put down that microphone before we hear about MCH yesterday, MCH today, MCH tomorrow. Allow me to give 1 minute to the Changemaker Governor, the father of MCH. Please slice that in a minute.
You said there were many questions? Yesterday, mothers used to give birth to 15 children. Did that happen in your village? Can I hear it? It still happens? 15 children? Aha. Today, mothers are giving birth, at least statistics from Ministry of Health. In urban areas, it's about 5 to 6 children per woman. So if you don't have 5, you still have a long way to go. In the rural areas, it's 8 to 9. But yes, we still have a big challenge in maternal and child health. The maternal mortality and neonatal mortality is still very high. And that's the reason we want to address maternal and child health through a program of scale. I mentioned earlier that our age structure, there are different figures, but I think about 78% are below 35 years. That's a huge figure. And if that is also reflects Rotary membership, probably it does now, we still have to address young mothers dying. The figure we have is 34% of the maternal mortality are for mothers or women who give birth between the ages of 19 and 24. Did you hear that? Maternal mortality, 34% of those that die are between 19 and 24. If you stress it to 35, it is above 50%. So we are concerned because we are addressing everybody's need, including those in that age bracket in this room. Because there is a danger if you go to a health center and there is no appropriate medical equipment to help diagnose your condition. There is danger if your sister, your auntie out there is not aware that
they should be going to a health center for antenatal care 9 times during their pregnancy. So that you stop a mother going at the last minute when she has twins, when she has a medical condition that may lead her to death or the baby to death. We are addressing that issue, maternal mortality and neonatal mortality, because many babies are also dying. So that's the reason we ask you as clubs, and can I now recognize clubs that have sent in commitment letters? Please stand up and we recognize you. If you are president here and your club has submitted a support letter, please stand up and please give a round of applause to these presidents. And we want to encourage all the other presidents that are still seated that please take action. We know you are thinking about it, but take action before the close of business on Monday. Send that support letter. We are, and hear this, friends. At the time we started submitting our concept in August, in July this last Rotary year, no, in July this year, we are now one of the 2 finalists. That's important. Number 2, together with our partners, both locally and abroad, beyond that 2 million grant, we have mobilized an additional $3.4 million. That's not enough. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. It means that when we are awarded this grant and we start with $5.3 million, the likelihood of multiplying to tens of millions within 1 year is very, very high. So please support this program of scale so that we address the challenges of women and babies in Uganda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Governor John. Rotarians, Rotaractors, and guests in the house, and those on call, this must come to an end. Dear President, allow me to request the Rotarians, Rotaractors, and guests in the house to rise and thank our governors. Can we rise and recognize and thank our governors? Thank you so much, governors, for your time. Thank you for allowing to brave the traffic jam. And thank you very, very much for the knowledge that you have shared with the Friday clubs this evening. Members and friends, may we sit? Jolly good fellows, they are jolly good fellows. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. They are jolly good fellows. They are jolly good fellows. They are jolly good fellows. And no one can deny. Thank you, governors. We love you and we appreciate you. Over to you, President.
Yeah, thank you very much, CMP. Justice, well done. I'm being advised that it is proper and just that at least the governors receive 3 questions despite the fact that you've thanked them. Is that in order? Consensus? Audience? By show of hands, anyone who wishes to raise a question for reply that is burning? They are insisting that at least 3. So considering that, yes, my AG.
Thank you, my president. Banag, don't you want to be a governor one day? You don't? You don't want to go outside countries with your partner? Huh? Okay, if you don't want to know, for me, I want to know, how does one become a governor? Thank you.
Thank you. This is Hope Creator President Joseph Kayunga from the Rotary Club of Nagarama. My question would be, I'd request Governor John maybe to answer my question. As a Hope Creator President, what is more expected of me on maternal and child health? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Mary Namoa is my name, the ADRR for Central Cluster 9 and from the Rotaract Club of Naguru. My question is to anyone, any governor who is ready to answer. We have many of you who have been Rotaractors. But as Rotaractors, we don't really feel the vibe of, yes. Do you know, when we have a governor who has never been a Rotaractor, we shall understand. But having a governor who has been a Rotaractor before, we assume you understand what we are going through and you have been where we are already. So what plans, I think this specifically goes to DGN, what plans does the team have to have Rotaractors always engaged? You look at the district team, it will have 99% Rotarians. Then they get, the 1% will be a Rotaractor, and the Rotaractors they bring in, they are given these, they are told to share flyers, do this, but they tell them they're on the committees. And then at the end of the day, they say, you're on the committee, but you're not performing. But you're not, we are not involved. And if it comes, the big positions or the leaders are given, the lead positions are given to Rotarians, but these are Rotarians who don't have time. But when they get the Rotaractors, they don't involve them, so we shall not know what you really want us to do. Then after you say Rotaractors are not working, but you have not, the Rotarians have not made sure that we work on the relationship between the Rotaractors. We still have that mentality of Rotaractors are supposed to carry chairs, move books, put up banners. So I don't know what idea or what solution you have on that, to have Rotaractors involved.
The point is taken. Okay, the last question. The last question. We need to close.
President, I had the mic here.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, remember there is Chimeza. The governors are still around. You'll be at liberty to interact with them. Kindly bear with us on time. Yes.
Thank you very much. I'll be very quick. My one will go to Governor Stephen. And I'll start off with thanking you for your cancer initiative. Now, we've got a small rodent in Zambia. And I was reading a medical journal which states that Uganda gets about 10,000 new cases every year, cancer cases. Uganda gets about 10,000 new cases, cancer-related. And on average, about 30,000 Ugandans are receiving
cancer treatment or require cancer treatment. Now, we've got a small ward, yes. I want to know, how does one get admitted into that ward? Do you conduct some kind of draw? Does a patient in Chitugum got the same chances as a permanent secretary's wife to get into the ward? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I'll start with the HCP Robert Walachira. You know, at the beginning, I think the question was asked to Governor John Magezi Ndamira about Rotary then, now, and in the future. And if I had been asked that question, I would have told you that 30 years ago when I joined Rotary, you never had people like Robert here becoming president. But now the guy is a serious president because you are so strict. But, you know, but that's the diversity you are talking about. Very, very effective leader. Thank you for that question. Now, specifically on your question, actually, some little correction on the statistics. It's not 10,000 new cases of cancer every year in Uganda. It's actually 33,000 new cases in Uganda every year, of whom 24 actually die in year one, simply because of late diagnosis. That's how bad it is. The reason we thought about starting a cancer ward in Zambia and continue to build the capacity of that place was to help to support the efforts of the Uganda Cancer Institute. It was failing. Now what we have there today is a cancer ward, a 36-bed ward, which we're able to build in the first three years of our attempt. And there, the doors are open for all men and women having cancer. We also have open clinics twice a week at no cost for the clinics, for free screening for cancer. Now, at Zambia, anybody who gets there gets treated. Of course, for treatment, there's a fee that you have to pay because there are many consumables. There's no discrimination. They don't ask you for your identity or for your position in the government. But where we are today, we can only do chemotherapy and surgery. We are not able to do radiotherapy. So for patients that require radiotherapy services, those are turned away. They can go and line up in Mulago, but the facilities in Mulago are so bad. You just have to go there and see. And that's why in these days we are running to make sure we introduce radiotherapy services in Zambia so that it becomes a fully-fledged cancer center, possibly the best in the region. Now where we are going, cancer is a very expensive disease. Even in Zambia, when you're able to do radiotherapy, there will still be some charges. You can't have entirely free services. You still pay some money, but of course much less than you'd spend if you went to Germany or even Nairobi, South Africa. But the plans of the cancer program is such that the run will continue regardless of whether this cancer center is done or not. The plans are to set up what we call Uganda Rotary Cancer Program Foundation. And we want to build a fund such that people who are not able to afford can be treated free of charge. There we shall need services of socialists and others. People will have to interview to classify you whether you fit in the private wing or the free wing. That's the plan we have. So when the place is ready, the run coming after that will be building up a fund which will support now in the treatment. Such that the policy at Zambia should be no turning away of any patient, regardless of whether you have a shilling or not. As long as you have got enough transport to reach in Zambia, the rest will be treated. I hope I've answered your question. The other question was about Sarah wants to become a governor next year. And all I'm telling Sarah is every year a sitting governor sends out invitations to clubs, to presidents to share with their members. And here the criteria is shared. Now, whoever is interested does apply through his or her club. And thereafter, the district constitutes a nominating committee with guidelines which are well known. And the committee now looks for the most suitable, sometimes not necessarily the most qualified, governor candidate for the time on behalf of the district. Sarah, good luck.
Thank you very much. I'm just adding something on the question. Thank you, Governor Stephen. I want to say that nobody should come into Rotary with the intention of becoming a governor. What you should be doing is to become a good Rotarian, and the rest will follow you. And if you're a bad worker, wherever you do, whether in business or your place of work, it's highly unlikely that you'll be a good Rotarian. There is a deep relationship between what you do in Rotary and what you do in society. If you are not doing very well in society, it's unlikely that you'll do well in Rotary. So your life must be holistic, to look at yourself as somebody who wants to be a leader. And the other thing I want to mention, Rotary is going through transition and evolution. And there are others who think and are asking, do we governors do the best that Rotary wants? Will we move the figure of 1.4 by being governors across the world to 4.5 million Rotarians? That question is being asked. That for 100 years, here we are 1 point something. Now, there are other pilots that are going on, and maybe the position, if you position yourself too much around the governor, the next time the leader will be a regional leader, an administrator, and they say we don't want governors. They have done their 119 years, and now it's ready to move to the next leader. Now you can imagine the disappointment. As you are arriving, the position moves higher. So prepare yourself to be a good leader in Rotary. Do your work. Just focus on being a good Rotarian, forward test, all the core values, do the best you can, give the resources, and you will end where you want to go. Thank you.
Just a small addition to that. I don't think any of the people seated here ever came out to say, I want to be a governor. More often, people who reach out and convince, actually, to some people, it is serious convincing, because people see capacity in you, suitability, and they convince you. So that is also something that we need to know. None of the people I'm seated with here came out by themselves that I want to be this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think I'm going to address the question of my young sister Namwaya. One, the word vibe is relative. The reason I say it's relative, when you go to, I used to think that Kampala South has vibe until I went to Rotary Club of Weyogere. When these guys sit for Kimeza, they leave what? In the morning. Now, that notwithstanding, Rotary has actually gone forward to support Rotaractors in different functions. And I'll start with this year. The Vice District Executive Secretary is a Rotaractor called Purple. The vice chairperson of the district conference is a Rotaractor called Patience. This district has supported Rotaractors to do things which other districts can't. In Hamburg, we had a Rotaractor speak at the RI convention, and that was Patience. Ronica Wadwa also spoke at a conference in Australia, and he has come through the ranks at Rotaractor and is a regional leader. Imi and another Rotaractor from Kololo also represented us at several forums. So I think it's not that we are not giving Rotaractors the ability and the visibility they need, but also the Rotaractors need to take advantage of these opportunities. Often, and I think the DRR would support me here, is that Rotaractors, despite our districts, which has actually given them visibility, sometimes take a back seat. Sometimes they want to be, I'll use the word, breastfed. We know that when you are born, at an instant, you have to wean off the mother's breasts. But some of the clubs actually stay so dependent on the Rotary clubs. But that has changed. And from the statistics that have been given of the formation of Rotaractors, I think the 2,500 within the district, that growth is one of the highest in the world. And the reason the governor has introduced a prize at the district conference to recognize how clubs partner with Rotaractors is because we feel Rotaractors are very special, that we have to nurture that growth going forward. Now, I truly understand your pain that some people might not recognize what you're doing. But I would like to say before all these members that currently you're part of the mobilization team, which has done a great job. So if you haven't been recognized, I want us to stand up and recognize Namuwaya for doing a great job. Yeah. Thank you very much. Now, my last comment about that is that most of you are managers, are parents. The key thing is to keep your employees or your children engaged, is we should learn to encourage them, recognize wherever they excelled. And as you know, the Rotary clubs refers as mother clubs. So as you have a club, how are you mentoring these clubs? How are you interacting with the Rotaractors? How are you making sure that they grow in Rotary? I think that's the challenge that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor GK, for that. And allow me to supplement on what GK has mentioned. Anything that deals with Rotaract, I'm passionate about it. And when I'm with my fellow Rotaractors, I'm very candid with them. And to supplement what Governor Martin, 'Martin' 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 ' And I think even John probably hinted about it earlier. Rotaractors in this part of the world, I think we simply do not know what a great opportunity we have to simply be in this space. We simply don't appreciate that until you go out there and you come back and say, indeed, we are right on the table. We've gone miles away to make sure that we teach the Rotary world how to partner and how to nurture Rotaractors. And that any Rotary International president that has visited us here will tell you that. They keep wondering, how is it that we do it? I remember 4 years ago, probably 5 years ago, I was governor. And when I was governor-elect, I went to my governor's council and I told them, for the first time, I want Rotaractors to be able to implement district grants. And I knew that it was not done, it was not allowed by Rotary Foundation, but yes, we have initiated many things, and Rotary adopts them. And I remember we went to Sharm el-Sheikh at the institute, and I shared it with our regional support officer for the foundation. And she told me, Xavier, that's a no-go. But I had my ways. I knew that it's going to happen. And indeed, I started it. And then before I knew it, one of my friends, the DR from Kenya, at that institute, he goes on the stage and talks about the good example from Uganda. And you know what? The Rotary International president and the directors came to me to ask how it is doing. Now, the staff at RI thinking it is not possible. 2 years down the road, Rotaractors can do global grants without going through even Rotary clubs. And those clubs should have been harder than that. But the disappointing thing, after all this effort, for 2 years, no Rotaract club in Uganda has applied for a global grant. And they are waiting to be pampered into that stage. Diara, we are together. And you know we are. So I'm very candid on this. So I've always told the Rotaractors, no one is going to give you everything. You need to fight for them. We've created the space for you. Live up to the. Many years ago, when I was a Rotaractor in Rotaract Club of Kololo, I saw my mother club, the Rotarians of Kololo, and they wanted us to join Rotary Club of Kololo. And I was looking at them and wondering, where do I get space here? Thankfully, as Rotaractors from different clubs, we formed the Rotary Club of Chiwatule. But you know, even at that stage, we never, ever went to the Rotary Club of Kololo to ask. We went to them, telling them, we have this, join us, so that we can be able to achieve this. That should be the attitude from Rotaract. Thank you so much.
Governor Xavier's explanation actually reminded me about something I wanted to share with you. In 2016, I did represent this district at the council on legislation. And among the things at that council that were being proposed to be introduced by RI was to allow Rotaractors to attend Rotary meetings. Now, there I was with the late Sam Ori. In Uganda, for many years, we are taking that for granted. In fact, somebody told me, Stephen, don't be surprised. Uganda is the only country, then it was the only country globally which would allow any Rotaractor to walk into any Rotary meeting. Just walk in and sit and enjoy the fellowship and walk out. Not even in a district of 5 countries, then the street was only Uganda as a country. That's what Xavier is talking about. In Uganda, Rotarians have led the way in pushing Rotaractors. So please, let's appreciate that. And let's take use of the space we have. Thank you.
Rotaractors, are you still comfortable? But in spite of all this, there is still some good news for Rotaractors. In the commitment letters that I have from various clubs, and I forgot to mention this, I have about 11 Rotaract clubs that have made commitments ranging from $300 to $1,500. I think that's impressive. Give them a round of applause. Now, coming back to the question, I'm mindful of time. President, Rotary Club of Nagarama, what does a president do? It's one of the reasons I'm here. Now that I'm here. If you're a president, or if you're a member and you know that your club has not made a support letter, I'm here to support you. But in general, just give me your number. I'll send you a profile, a flyer. I'll send you a template of a letter where you just fill in the amount you want to commit and 2 signatures, yours and the president-elect. It's as simple as a cup of tea. Remember that the amount you commit may be paid over a period of 3 years, beginning 2024-25. So it's a 4-year program. That gives you the answer. So I'm here for you. Thank you.
Another round of applause, kindly. I beg to welcome those who are coming in right now. To also thank you for your patience as we continue to wrap up this function, All Friday Club function, fellowship. Now, factoring in this occasion and trying to wrap it up, this All Friday Club will be, in short, I'm going to Rotary information. This fellowship will be organized annually. It begins today with Rotary Club of Bwegerere, and there will be a raffle which I will, without wasting time, they will not come here. This will go through the All Friday clubs, and the next club will be known to host a similar fellowship. Purpose is to ensure that we capture, invite as many people, Rotarians, as we can. In other words, we need to know what Rotary is. And there are very many people who are here who want to know what Rotary is about. So be encouraged that this will be an annual occasion. May I hereby invite Rotarian RC Kasubi to take round this as we continue with the occasion. Where the raffle stops, in other words, whoever picks the next should be able to tell us where the next function like this will take place. Rotary information, I beg to invite the gentleman beside RC to come here. Just 2 minutes, Rotary information. And if there is any other person with Rotary information is invited, just 2 minutes to tell us what is in store for us. For the other interactions, you'll be free to interact with the DGs. They are here to stay until you are tired of them. That's what they are telling me. Yes, York, 2 minutes, kindly. 2 minutes.
Good evening, Hope Creators. Good evening, everybody. Yes, thank you for the opportunity, Mr. President. My task is very simple. I'm going to start by thanking every one of you that registered for the early bird promotion for the 99th District Conference. So I want you all for yourselves. Thank you very much. Yes, so now that you have done that, it's time for you to change your conversation. It's time for you to start booking your hotels. The list of hotels is out now. It's time for you to start preparing for your club awards. Presidents, I hope you have applied for your club awards. It's time for you to ask other Rotarians to register. Mobilization is still continuing. For those who have not yet registered for the 99th District Conference, I have my team around. You can come and approach me and we will help you to do that. That being said, on Friday next week, the Discon bus will leave for the Eastern Mega Fellowship in Tororo. So if you want to be a part of this, please approach me. The flyer is doing its rounds. We will leave at 7:30 a.m. from Africana. We will go along the highway all the way to Tororo. We will go visiting clubs. We will pick up members who are going to the conference. We will take pictures and we will have fun the way the Rotarians love to have fun. So I'm asking you to also register. Come, let's go to the Mega Fellowship in the East. With that said, thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to be around if you need any help with registration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next Rotary information, CMP, 2 minutes.
1 minute, even less. Rotarians, attention kindly. The Rotary Club of Kasangati invites you all to the annual quiz night fundraiser on 26th January 2024, starting at 4 p.m. The venue is Kasangati Resort Center. If you want to participate in groups of 5, for 5 Rotarians, you will pay 250,000. For 5 Rotaractors, you will pay 180,000. Individual tickets go for 50,000 only, and the contact person is Rotarian Momo. Rotarian Momo, are you here for the Rotarians to see you? Rotarian Momo? Here are the tickets. If you need a ticket, individual ticket is 50K. For 5 of you is 250,000. Rotaractors, 5 of you is 180,000. Thank you. President, we are good to go.
Yeah, thank you very much, CMP. A few recognitions, major donors, we salute you wherever you are. I think I see Michael, I see Kabugo, Jane Kabugo, the major donors present. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. It would be rude without mention if I was to be reported to my district governor if I do not recognize the Pope. Pope, we salute you. Thank you so much. And others, I'll just keep on recognizing. Now, let's move on with to the next program. Vote of thanks. Can I invite RC Kampala Metropolitan Elena to thank our district governors for the well-dissected topic.
Thank
Thank you, President. Rotarians, Rotaractors, guests, our friends, let me take this singular honor to thank you all so much for sacrificing your Fridays to come and join all Friday clubs and spearheaded by the president of the Rotary Club of Boyagere Central to this fellowship. I'd like to start by acknowledging CMP Jennifer for navigating us through this journey of learning about what happened then, what's happening now, and what will be happening tomorrow. We commend you for your service, ma'am. There is a quote by an author called Mariam Williamson, where it's been attributed to her, where she asks, or she says that we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? When the better question should actually be, who am I not to be? I think what we have learned from the session this evening, from all of our panelists, is that as Rotarians, we contribute to building humanity bravely. We are able to adapt. We are willing to change. We're willing to try things that have not been tried before. Because at the end of the day, the way we see ourselves is like this. We are simply descendants of people who are brave enough to see a better world, and ancestors to people who will inherit a better world. To our governors of then, of now, and of tomorrow, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for everything that you have shared with us this evening. We salute you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that vote of thanks. Another round of applause, Elena, for Elena. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, may I hereby invite our dear friends, representative from the Ginger Corridor, to come and say a testimony about Rotary Club of Boyogere. And in the same spirit, you will recognize all the, I will ask you to lead the HCPs. In other words, you call an HCP, say Rotary Club of Chiburi, HCP stands, and her people stand at the same time. Just keep on reading, they stand and sit, because it's almost time up. Members, kindly bear with us. We are almost winding up. Kindly.
Thank you so much, the President, our governors, protocol observed. As you can see on the program, I was given, or we are given 5 minutes to give our views of the Rotary Club of Boyogere Central as seen from the outside clubs. I'm Hope Creator President Moses Kafero from the Rotary Club of Mokono Central. So when I got this assignment, I rang colleagues on the Ginger Road Corridor because it was restricted how the Ginger Road Corridor sees Boyogere Central. So I rang, got in touch with several colleagues, and I imitated what statisticians do. Because the views were so many, so I sampled some of the views and those which are cut across, and allow me in the next 3 minutes to read what I summarized. The Rotarians in this corridor believe that Hope Creator President Godfrey Musinguzi has led from the front. He has raised the Rotary Club of Boyogere Nambole to greater heights. Oh. And I will summarize by that why we continue to say Boyogere Nambole. He has raised
the Rotary Club of Boyogere Central to greater heights, made it so popular. There is proper time management here. When it becomes 7, it is today because the program was tight. At 7 here they begin, whenever we visit them. He has a lot of humility and popularity in the corridor here. Many of our fellowships, almost every fellowship in this corridor, every day he has to send a representative from the Rotary Club of Boyogere Central to represent them in that fellowship. For us at Mukono Central, every Monday, there is 1 or 2 Rotarians from this club. So he has ambassadors, and I'm told it is even on a program at the club level here. For the first time, the club of Boyogere Central qualified. And in the first quarter, it had already got the club qualification. There is membership growth because all the time we get invited here for induction of new members. And in the corridor, the colleagues believe that even the forum you created for the Rotary Club of Friends, actually it's called Buddies, of the Rotary Club of Boyogere Central, is very active and followed by colleagues, Rotarians in the corridor. The club is highly known in the corridor here, and they are very proactive. HCP Godfrey will always inbox the HCPs in this corridor to update them of any event at this club. And therefore, as I conclude, whenever they would talk about Rotary at Boyogere, our minds would go to the Rotary Club of Boyogere Nambole. And that's why I was equally confused. But because of the active club that he has created, together with his colleague Rotarians, now these days, whenever there is an activity by the Rotary of Nambole, of Boyogere, we have to ask, is it Nambole, is it Central? Therefore, you have raised the bar that we now even have to ask and equate. Therefore, those are the views that I gathered, and we thank you so much, and keep rising. We know the next, the PE of this club, you now have size 50, not even 46. So on your installation, you don't need to bring a reverend or Sabadinkon. You should bring a bishop. Thank you so much. Now, the colleagues, the HCPs who are here, I will request you to come or to stand up. All right. The HCP from the Rotary Club of Kampala, Chibuli. And the members will stand with your HCP. Yeah, you can stay where you are. It's just standing. The HCP and the members from the Rotary Club of Nagalama. The HCP and the members of the Rotary Club of the E-Club Mtinda. Rotary Club of Matuga. Rotary Club of Kampala Kawempe. Rotary Club of Upper Kololo. Rotary Club of Kampala Sunshine. Rotary Club of Kasubi. Rotary Club of Kampala Metropolitan. Rotary Club of Chitukutwe. Rotary Club of Mukono Central. I know there are others because I'm seeing Chira, I'm seeing Wege Nambole, I'm seeing Kulambiro. So the one who gave me this, Rotary Club of Kulambiro. Rotary Club of 7 Hills, Kampala 7 Hills. The Rotary Club of Boyogere Nambole, PE. The mighty Rotary Club of Chira. Now, they always save the best for last. The Rotary Club, which produced our POP, Rotary Club of Kampala Maisha. Yes. Thank you so much. Back to the President. No. Allow me to work with the Rotarian Nabudua here. The clubs are 60. Actually, the one who gave me the list really did us a disservice. I don't know whether... So Friday we are the organizers. Here we shall skip the Friday clubs. The Rotary Club of Kampala... I don't... we stop on that. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my brother HCP Moses Kafero. The reason why we haven't mentioned the other 60 clubs is because the ones that have been mentioned were the organizers. So the occasion is still going on. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the present DJ's theme is creating hope. And creating hope is diverse. The BCAP project, you know that? We also have a BCAP project. And now we are going to what we call a lucky dollar. It is called a lucky dollar because we believe that dollars work. Okay? Now, the lucky dollar has been passed on to RC Nkurambiro and RC Boyogere Central. May I request that you lead us through that section? The lucky dollar is worth 5,000 shillings, and you are at liberty to speak about it. How do I speak about it? You can say, we are glad to be here. You can dedicate it to the district governors. The district governors, they are heavy, mind you. So you cannot give a... Can they give a $5 to each of you? I don't know, but it's up to us. So can I call Rotarian Kanyehamba and our sergeant to lead us through this lucky dollar? HCP Kulambiro? Okay, she has delegated.
Thank you so much, President. Fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors and guests that are here. My name is Herbert Kanyehamba. I'm the CP, Kulambiro. My president is here. And half of our team is around, including the CEO and our PE. So today I'm going to take you through the Happy Dollar session. I've been rightly informed that whatever comes from the Happy Dollar will go towards supporting the projects at Acholi quarters. So for purposes of today, the president has clearly put it that a happy dollar is 5,000. So you're free to give as many happy dollars as you can. I see people asking where. Don't worry, we have our bag here. So please, if you have, I'm told people here are very organized. They have bags, not just one bag. And we shall have, let me see people with bags. Please stand up. I see one. Okay, people are already giving happy dollars, but before we start, I think I would be the best person to start since I'm the, usually priests don't give, they don't put in the katemere. They don't put in the katemere. The priests, most of them. Okay, we have one priest here. I was joking, eh? I'm a young brother to Mariachi, don't worry. So, someone with a bag, I need to put 4 happy dollars. And we have a colleague there who wants to put a happy dollar. Please raise your hand if you have a happy dollar so that if we have other bags, please come with them so that we quickly move around. Okay. Someone wants to talk about the happy dollar. Please go ahead.
10 happy dollars for the Rotary Club of Kampala 7 Hills. Please stand up for recognition.
Wow. Please clap for them.
We meet every Friday at Mosakotsa Apartments at 7 o'clock. Please join us next Friday. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we should clap for them, for that club, for the good work they are doing. Colleagues, anyone with a happy dollar, please raise your hand.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. 10 happy dollars.
Wow.
For our wonderful past, present, and future leaders seated over there.
Wow. Guys, Obugalo.
And 10 happy dollars so that all the Hope Creator presidents in the house can stand up.
Please.
All Hope Creator presidents, please stand up for recognition. That is 20 happy dollars for this amazing, awesome gathering.
Thank you so much, Rotarian, for that support. Anyone with a happy dollar, kindly, yeah? We have. We need more bags, eh? Okay. Colleagues, we are still collecting happy dollars. And the happy dollar is going for the right cause, so please support. The HCP Chibuli. Please raise your hand and our team will be with you. Go ahead.
I have 4 happy dollars from the Rotary Club of Kampala Kivuli.
Wow.
For the good session we had.
Thank you, RC Chibuli.
Our president is not listening to the happy dollar. President, your happy dollar. You're not listening to your happy dollars. People have been giving you a happy dollar. Mine. Hello. People are tired.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to collect the happy dollar swiftly and softly. We may not speak for it because I think people are getting tired. Allow me stand up. That's the chairman. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost done. You are tired, we appreciate. What we are going to do, if you feel you can contribute to this speaker project, it shall proceed slowly. We beg